Good day. There's one Bible verse about money that many Christians have heard more than any other. It's been quoted during offerings, building projects, even in moments of financial struggle. And for many people, it has shaped how they think God deals with their money. But here's the problem. This verse is often quoted without context, without explanation, and without asking whether it actually applies to Christians today. And because of that, it's often used to motivate giving through fear instead of faith. The verse is from book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. You've probably heard it. Will a man rob God, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and see if I will not open the windows of heaven? That phrase, robbing God, has been repeated so often that many believers assume this is a direct command to Christians. But here's the real question we should be asking. Who was this spoken to? Under what covenant? And does the New Testament apply this to the church? Because just being in the Bible doesn't automatically mean it applies to us the same way. When you slow down and read the passage, something becomes clear. God is speaking to Israel after exile. The temple had been rebuilt. The priests were corrupt, and the people were neglecting their covenant responsibilities. This wasn't a general message to all believers. It was a specific rebuke to a specific nation. So before we use this verse to define Christian giving, we need to understand its context. Let's slow down and look at what's really happening in Malachi 3, because context changes everything. God is speaking to Israel under the law of Moses. There is a functioning temple, a Levitical priesthood, and a national covenant system. The storehouse mentioned in the passage wasn't a modern church building. It was part of the temple system where food was kept to support priests and those serving in ministry. This is important because when this verse is quoted today as a warning to Christians, that entire context is often ignored. Under the Old Covenant, blessings and curses were tied directly to obedience. That's why the passage talks about drought, hardship, and blessing in such strong terms. But when Jesus came, he fulfilled the law and established a new covenant. And under that new covenant, believers are not under the law of Moses. We are under grace. So when Malachi 3 is applied directly to Christians, it creates a distorted picture of God. It makes it seem like God is waiting to punish you financially if you don't meet a percentage. But the New Testament teaches something very different. In Christ, believers are already blessed, and the curse of the law has already been dealt with. So the issue isn't whether Malachi 3 is true. The issue is whether it's being applied correctly. And in the final video, we will answer the big question, what does this mean for how Christians should give today? So if Malachi 3 is often misused, what should Christians actually do with it? First, rejecting the misuse of this passage does not mean rejecting generosity. That's where some people go wrong. They hear you're not under the law and assume giving doesn't matter. That's not biblical. The New Testament calls believers to be generous, deeply generous. But the motivation is completely different. The apostles never use Malachi 3 to pressure believers. Instead, they teach giving that is willing, joyful, and according to ability, not under compulsion. Giving is not driven by fear of being cursed, it's driven by gratitude for grace. So here's the balance. Using Malachi 3 to pressure people into giving damages the gospel. But using grace as an excuse to give nothing also misses the point. Real generosity doesn't come from fear, it comes from a changed heart. So what should you do? Support your church, support your gospel work, care for people in need, but do it freely. Not because you're afraid of being called a robber of God. God does not need your money, He wants your heart. And when your heart is free in Christ, your giving will be real, joyful, and powerful. If this teaching has helped you, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, like, comment, and share. We are using Understanding Bible Doctrine on Tithe and Tithing, Myths, Misuse, and Biblical Truth as our reference book. You can order the book online using the link below for your own in-depth study. Thank you.